Good morning girls and welcome back to our class. Today we are going to discuss about colloids and its classification. Before going into the details, let us understand what are the different classes of mixtures. Depending upon the size of the solute particles, the mixtures can be categorized as true solution, suspension and colloids. As I mentioned earlier, the classification of mixture is based on the particle size. If the particle size is lesser than 10 to the power minus 7 centimeter, then we will call that as true solution. If the particle size is greater than 10 to the power minus 5 centimeter, the resultant mixture is a suspension. If the particle size is in between true solution and suspension, then we will call it as colloidal solution. Colloidal particles are larger than simple molecules but small enough to be suspended. Let us see some examples of true solution and suspension. Sugar solution, salt solution, etc. are examples of true solution. Particles of true solution cannot be filtered through the filter paper and are not visible to our naked eye. Suspension include the mixture of chalk and water, muddy water, the mixture of flour and water, etc. So, what are colloids? In our daily life, we come across different types of colloids. Few examples are given here. Milk, ice cream, gelatin, butter, gemstones, glasses, etc. are examples of colloids. So what is the definition of a colloid? Colloid is a heterogeneous system in which one substance is dispersed as very fine particles in another substance called dispersion medium. Colloids do not settle out, nor they be filtered apart. Two important terms related to colloids are dispersed phase and dispersion medium. To understand these two terms, let us take an example of starch solution, which is a colloid. Starch solution is obtained by dissolving starch powder in water. Here starch powder is the dispersed phase and water is the dispersion medium. So what are the definitions of dispersion medium and dispersed phase? The continuous medium in which the colloidal particles are dispersed is called dispersion medium. The discontinuous phase of colloidal particles in a colloidal system is called dispersed phase. Classification of colloids. Colloids are classified into three major classes based on the following factors. Number 1, based on the physical state of dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Number 2, based on the nature of interaction between the dispersed phase and dispersion medium. And number 3, based on the type of particles of the dispersed phase. Based on the physical state of dispersed phase and dispersion medium, we can classify colloids into 8 subclasses. In this table, I have mentioned dispersed phase and dispersion medium of each type of colloids and their example. Among these, one can come for your examination. Now let us go through the table. For the first example, dispersed phase is a solid and dispersion medium is again a solid. Type of colloid is solid sol. Examples are given here, colored glasses and gemstones. Second example, dispersed phase is solid, dispersion medium is liquid and type of colloid is sol. Example, paints, cell fluids, etc. So somewhere someone mentioned a colloid as a sol. The meaning is dispersed phase is solid and dispersion medium is liquid. The next example, dispersed phase is solid, dispersion medium is gas, Type of colloid is aerosol, smoke, dust, etc. as example. For the next one, dispersed phase is liquid, dispersion medium is solid, and type of colloid is gel. Examples are cheese, butter, etc. In the next example, dispersed phase and dispersion medium are liquid. Type of colloid is emulsion. Example, milk, hair cream, etc. So in emulsion, both the dispersed phase and dispersion medium are liquids. Next example, dispersed phase is liquid, dispersion medium is gas, type of colloid is aerosol, example fog, mist, cloud, etc. The next category, dispersed phase is gas, dispersion medium is solid, type of colloid is solid salt, examples pumice stone, foam rubber, etc. The last example, dispersed phase is gas, dispersion medium is liquid, type of colloid is foam, examples froth, whipped cream, soap lather, etc. Based on the nature of interaction between the dispersed phase and dispersion medium, colloids can be classified into two, lyophilic colloids and lyophobic colloids. Lyophilic colloid means liquid-loving colloids. These are formed by the direct mixing of dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Lyophobic colloid means liquid-hating colloids. These cannot form by the direct mixing of dispersed phase and dispersion medium. For the preparation, we have to select some specific methods. Differences between lyophilic and lyophobic colloids. This is a 2-mark question. Any 2 differences can be asked. Sometimes 3 differences also can come for your examination. Lyophilic colloids. These are formed by the direct mixing of dispersed phase and dispersion medium. But lyophobic colloids is prepared by some specific methods. Lyophilic colloids, they are reversible in nature. Lyophobic colloids, they are irreversible in nature. Lyophilic colloids are quite stable and cannot be easily coagulated. Coagulation means precipitation. Lyophobic colloids are unstable and need some stabilizing agents for preservation. Based on the type of particles of dispersed phase, colloids can be classified into 3: multimolecular colloids, macromolecular colloids, and associated colloids. Let us see what is multimolecular colloids. During dissolution, sometimes smaller particles in the solution will have the tendency to aggregate together to form species of colloidal particle size. These type of colloids, which are formed by the aggregation of smaller particles, are called multimolecular colloids. Examples for multimolecular colloids are gold sol and sulfur sol. The definition of multimolecular colloid is follows. On dissolution, a large number of atoms or smaller molecules of a substance aggregate together to form species having size in the colloidal range are called multimolecular colloids. Macromolecular colloids. Macromolecules, when it dissolves in suitable solvent, it will form a colloidal solution called macromolecular colloids. Examples for macromolecular colloids are starch solution, cellulose, proteins, and enzymes. Macromolecular colloids are stable colloids. It cannot be coagulated easily. Associated colloids. Some substances at their lower concentration behave as strong electrolytes, but at higher concentration they show colloidal properties. This is due to the formation of aggregates at higher concentration. This type of colloidal solution, which shows colloidal properties only at a higher concentration, are called associated colloids. The aggregated particles formed at a higher concentration are called micelles. Micelles are forming at a particular temperature called Kraft temperature and at a particular concentration called critical Miceli concentration. Examples of associated colloids are soaps and synthetic detergents. The critical Miceli concentration of soap is 10 to the power minus 4 to 10 to the power minus 3 mole per liter. The meaning is only between this concentration the soap molecule will act as a colloid. Particles of some substances in solution at higher concentration form aggregates called micelles. The best example is soaps and detergents. Now we are going to learn about soaps. What are soaps? Soaps are sodium or potassium salt of fatty acid. Now the question is, what are fatty acids? These are carboxylic acid with long hydrocarbon chain. The general formula for soap is RCOONA, where R is a long hydrocarbon chain. The simplest example for soap is sodium stearate. The formula for sodium stearate is CH3, CH2 16 times, COO minus Na plus. There are 18 carbon atoms in sodium stearate altogether. When soap molecule dissolve in water, it will undergo dissociation and it will form a carboxylate anion and sodium ion. Let us study in detail the structure of that carboxylate anion. The carboxylate anion has a long hydrocarbon chain as the tail and a polar head. This long hydrocarbon chain is water hating, or we can say it is hydrophobic in nature, while the polar head is water loving, or we can say it is hydrophilic in nature. Dissociation of soap molecule. Soap molecule, when we dissolve it in water, it will undergo dissociation and it will form a carboxylate anion and sodium ion. The structure of carboxylate anion is given here. The blue line represents the long hydrocarbon chain which is hydrophobic in nature, and COO minus group, that is the polar head, is hydrophilic in nature. Now let us see how micelles are forming in soap solution. When we dissolve soap in water, the soap molecules undergo dissociation and arrange themselves on the surface of water with their COO minus group facing water and hydrocarbon tail staying away from the surface. But at higher concentration, that is at critical Miceli concentration, the carboxylate anion form an aggregate of spherical shape with hydrocarbon chain pointing towards the center and the polar head facing outwards. This aggregate is called ionic micelle. This ionic micelle may have as many as 100 ions in it. These two pictures shows the arrangement of stearate ion at a lower concentration and at a higher concentration. At lower concentration, the stearate ions are arranged on the surface of water molecule in such a way that the polar head is pointing towards inside and the hydrophobic hydrocarbon chain is pointing outside. As the concentration increases, or when it reaches critical Micelle concentration, the arrangement is completely different. At critical Micelle concentration, the stearate molecules will aggregate together to form a spherical shape. In the spherical shape, you can observe the hydrocarbon chain is pointing towards inside and the polar head is pointing towards outside. One aggregate will have more than 100 stearate ions. The cleansing action of soap is due to the formation of micelles at a higher concentration around the oil droplet in such a way that the hydrocarbon chains of the stearate ion is in the oil droplet and the polar head projects out of the oil droplet. Since the polar groups can interact with water, the oil droplet is now pulled in water and removed from the dirty surface. Thus, soap helps in washing away the dirt from the surface. We can understand the cleansing action of soap from the following diagrams. The first diagram shows the oil droplet on the surface of a cloth. The second diagram shows the arrangement of stearate ion on the surface of the oil droplet. The third diagram shows the micelle formation around the oil droplet. Here, hydrocarbon chains are in the oil droplet and the polar heads are pointing outside, which will interact with the surrounded water molecules. Finally, the hydrocarbon chains will pull away the dirt from the surface of the cloth into water.